All right, so let's get back to this guide stuff here. So I did the beginner track last time. This time I'm going to focus on the medium track. There, I'll let it get started here, but there are two things that I want to address for improving your times that are outside of the domain of the game. The first one is the control that you use, the controller. Shmup Junkies did a lot of research into this maybe a couple of years ago for shooters, for shmups. And he found that the Joy-Con was the most responsive controller possible for the Switch. And that's by a full frame ahead of the Pro controller. So it's basically got an input latency of about 3.5 frames, which is quite a bit, but I'm not sure if that's really avoidable when it comes to dealing with Bluetooth at times. So, I mean, that's the best you can do, it seems, right now. And that includes the option to control with wires. You don't get any better times using a wired controller, which really runs counter to what you would expect. So that's the first thing, the controller. I use the Joy-Con. There's another aspect to the Joy-Con that I like. I use the D-pad to race. If you press down on the D-pad, it acts as a secondary brake pedal. Now the problem there is, when I was using my Pro controller, then I might occasionally hit a diagonal, and that diagonal counts as a down, and it starts the brakes. So I was slowing myself down at times unwittingly by using that, and the Joy-Con having 4 separate discrete buttons to function as up, down, left, and right actually helps reduce the likelihood of making that mistake. Okay, so the other thing now is your display. You want to have your TV in game mode. Most modern 4K TVs do a really good job with the scaling, especially if you're doing 1080p to 4K is a 2x integer scale, which is a little easier for the TVs to scale anyway. But most of them do a pretty good job these days. We're talking 10 to 14 milliseconds for most of what I see on ratings.com, RTINGS. This one I'm playing on now has a 16 millisecond roughly, which puts me about a half a frame behind a CRT. So that's really good these days. I'm fine with it. My TV upstairs where I set some records is actually at 33 milliseconds, which could push me 2 frames behind. That's kind of rough, but I still get stuff done. If you can get it done, if you're good, you're good. It doesn't matter. So those are the two things outside of the game that you need to take care of, is the controller and the display. Now, when it comes to the actual race, on this course, and I'm still chasing the time. I'd like to get a time on the podium, and I'm in 4th place overall. First for automatic, but for 4th overall, and I think I can get the bronze. What you'll notice just there was that was a mistake, and I drifted off to the side. But one thing is, and you'll see this coming up, don't be afraid to think outside the box and let the track control your speed. Sometimes going off the track, cutting a corner in some weird way, actually gives you enough braking power that it works out better. Rather than hitting the brakes or reducing your speed, you can just go with that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on this track, really. I think that about covers it for now. So I might come back with a more detailed look at that particular track. But for now, we'll get this out there.